Hello and welcome to the Search Buzz video recap. My name is Barry Schwartz. Today is Friday, June 12th, and this is what we covered over the past week at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com. We'll get started right away. So the first topic this week that I thought we'd discuss is something that happened over at XMX Advanced that sparked a pretty big controversy for this week at several blogs. It's really over how Google might perceive SEOs and treat SEOs relative to how Google might perceive and treat other people outside of the SEO profession. Michael Gray and Lisa Barone both have posts about this, where Michael Gray and Lisa Barone talk about how Google might profile SEOs, specifically as maybe criminals. Basically, Michael and Lisa compare how people who people who somehow incentivize others to link to a certain website or to boost a website or product's visibility in Google, how some people are penalized for that, whereas other people are not penalized. So, for example, Michael Gray explains how people like Robert Scoble, Sarah Lacy, and others go to, for example, Israel. I went to Israel on this trip as well, and they get an all paid for them trip to Israel just so they can blog about Israel and talk about Israel and spread information about that. Guy Kawasaki received his Audi Q7, I think, for 3 months in exchange for him to blog about it. And there's other examples of different, internet celebrities who have been treated a certain way by the companies in order for them to go ahead and write about it and link to them and to do certain things to promote the product or service on their blogs. And Michael Gray and Lisa Barone's thoughts about this is that Google, if an SEO did the same thing, that SEO's blog would be penalized for doing such a thing. So, for example, they're asking why is Robert Scoble, Sarah Lacy, Guy Kawasaki's blog penalized in terms of, a page rank penalty for linking out to these types of websites when they're basically paid to do so. They got paid trips. I don't think Robert Scoble got a fully paid trip anyway, but that's not the point. The point is, whereas SEOs, if they did something like that, they most likely would be penalized in some level for linking out to these sites because technically, I guess, a gift might be payment. So we have somebody else, Susan over at Bruce Clay, who says, I don't buy this. I think Google doesn't treat SEOs as criminals, but yet they treat SEOs at a higher level because the SEOs should know better. Whereas Robert Scoble, Guy Kawasaki, who honestly probably should know better, they're not technically SEOs. So Susan over at Bruce Clay is saying, SEOs should know better, and that's why Google might treat SEOs as professionals in the SEO space, and they should be treated at a higher level. Personally, I see both sides of the argument. I'm not sure who's right, who's wrong here. We do have a poll with about 130 responses so far. We posted about this on June 10th. So if you are listening to this and you haven't taken our poll yet, go to the seroundtable.com, click on the archives, click on June 10th, and scroll down to the poll where we ask, does Google see SEOs as criminals? And we want you to tell us, your thoughts on that. It was pretty interesting controversy, and it's, I don't know. I really don't know. You tell me. On the SEO front, some pretty big news. Google is now notifying webmasters after they have submitted their reconsideration request if Google has actually reviewed their site. So what happened in the past was your site might have been penalized or whatever it might have been in Google. You go to Google Master Tools, you click on reconsideration request at the top right of the page. You submit your application, and then you wouldn't hear from Google. Either your site would show up back in Google, or you wouldn't hear from them. Now, Google is actually sending emails saying, we've processed your reconsideration request for whatever site it was, and they say, we received your request to reconsider the site, and they continue to say that now that they actually reviewed your website, if your website will reappear in the index in the next few days, then everything is fine. If not, then you probably have not cleaned up everything, and you should go ahead and go to the Google Webmaster Tools or Google Webmaster Guidelines, go through your site and make sure it's 100% clean. Google, or Sagar, I guess that's how it's pronounced, went ahead and confirmed this at the Google Webmaster Helps forum. And basically, they're not going to tell you in the email if your site has been verified as being clean or not. They're basically going to tell you that they reviewed your site. So you should know if you get this email that they said they reviewed your website, it should only take a few days for Google to re-include your website in the Google Index or to readjust your rankings based on that. If you do not see your rankings improve, that means you probably haven't cleaned up your site and Google did not accept your reconsideration request. So you probably want to go after it again. It's pretty big news. I think it's a big step for Google, and I'm very happy they've done this. Other big news on the Webmaster SEO front was that Google has finally launched their new Webmaster Tools design, which was, I guess, being beta tested about a month ago or so. Thing is, they also released something really big, which is called a change of address. So basically, you are now able to go ahead and communicate to Google that you are moving domain names. So let's say I went from seroundtable.com to searchengineroundtable.com, and I wanted Google to know about that major change and pick up on the change quickly. Now there is a way to verify both sites in Google Webmaster Tools, which you can always do, and then you can always say, I'm moving verified site A to verified site B, and that will communicate to Google that your site has been moved officially. That's a major thing with their new Webmaster Tools design. In addition, they also added a feature, smaller feature, but it's an important feature that allows you to be emailed to a verified Google account that's associated with the verified websites when you get a new Webmaster Tools message in your inbox, just in case you don't look at it every day. The major thing with the Google change of address thing is that we've been wanting this at least since 2006. We have a post about it, which we call back then the Google Certified Domain Change. And now people are allowed to do that. There are a lot of documentation on how this actually works, and you should probably read about it if you want to use it. I even showed a picture of how this actually looks. The main thing is Google will move your site, and it will probably last for 180 days by the time which Google says. Typically after 180 days you should be fine anyway if you set up 301 redirects and everything that works. The problem was when they launched it didn't really work. There were major issues with the change of address. There were issues with even the iGoogle gadget, and there was also an issue with submitting your sitemaps or verifying your sites. That has all been fixed a day later, so everything should be fine. If you want more information about this, you should check out our blog at seroundtable.com in the archives on June 11th. For the past week or so, Google UK, google.co.uk, has been shaking it up. A lot of people are saying that the results are jumping from down by 200 positions to 300 positions to 400 positions, but now it seems people are noticing that those results that dropped drastically are now coming back up. I don't know much about this, but we do have a post on June 9th with some discussion around this change. There's a big influx. There is not much discussion about it in the forums. There are some discussion, and we link to it. If you noticed anything and you want to talk to other people who are noticing the same thing, we do have links to it on June 9th at seroundtable.com. Last week I promised to share with you the results from our Bing survey. Microsoft launched Bing, their new search engine. It's pretty much the same as live search, but it has a new UI, has some new features, some new indexing capabilities, some new instant answers. The main thing is the UI. Anyway, so Microsoft launched it, major positive feedback from everybody about it. We did a poll for SEOs to see how they liked it, and we had about 120 responses. About 70% said they like it, they really do like it. About 25% said no, they don't like it, and 7% said other answers, so mostly jokes. If you want the details from this post, from this poll, check out seroundtable.com, June 9th. Again, positive about Bing, and looking good for Microsoft. A few weeks ago, I reported on Search Engine Land that Google was testing over in the UK where they had several images listed or displayed directly under a search snippet. So you have the title in the search results. You have the title of the link to the page. You have the description, which you have in most cases, and then you have the URL. But between the description, the snippet, and the URL, sometimes they showed about 7 to 8 images from that web page. So this also came up this week where Brent had a blog post from a guest writer that Google Sweden's actually testing this out for search on, I can't pronounce it, but technically in Sweden it means wedding rings. We have a screenshot of this. I don't know if this is coming to Google.com in the US, but it's been tested in the UK. Now it seems to be tested in Google Sweden, so it might be coming to the US soon. It's pretty interesting how they do this. And if you want more information about it, June 11th, SEOroundtable.com. You remember when I reported that a AdSense publisher took Google to small claims court over his account being terminated? Well, it turns out that Google appealed it in small claims court, took the publisher back to small claims court, and Google won. Basically, Google brought evidence this time that showed that the publisher was actually going against Google's terms of service by showing one, an ad on a blank page, and two, asking people to actually click on the ad, which is against Google's terms of service. We have a lot of the court documents linked to on June 9th. Also, we have an updated story from the actual publisher linked to at Huffington Post, which goes over his side of the story. Basically, now he knows why he was terminated. That was his main thing. He wanted to know why he was terminated. Obviously, he could have just read some blog posts or some information about how Google's terms of service works. But in any event, you might want to read the story. It's pretty interesting. We have a link to it on, at SEOroundtable.com. But the Huffington Post story is very, very interesting to read. So definitely take a look at that. While we're on AdSense, I found an interesting thread which told the story that a publisher received 2 checks in the mail in the same envelope. Basically, he got his check in the mail plus somebody else's check. I guess something happened with the check stuffer, the automatic check stuffer, which put checks in envelopes and mails them out, but he received somebody else's check in the mail. These things happen, I guess. These are technical glitches, but it's the first time I've heard of anything about this. It's just pretty interesting this would happen, and hopefully that other publisher is not missing that check too much. Finally, after 6 months of iPhone and Android users who are suffering with the iGoogle page, basically about 6 months ago, Google dropped the iPhone optimized version of the iGoogle page, and users were really upset. There were literally like hundreds and hundreds of posts from different users of the iGoogle page in the Google mobile or the Google web search forum. And Google finally announced last night or this morning that they have released a new version that they're testing of iGoogle for the iPhone. And I have my iPhone here, so I thought I'll show it to you. So let me try to zoom in, see if this works. It's kind of working there. Let's see here. There you go. So I guess you could see it. If you click on the HD version, you probably could see it, or the HQ version. Here's a new iGoogle. It has these new tab things, so if I click on something, it will expand that and show you the actual posts under it, as you can see. Then you can click on the little plus sign, and then you can read the actual post in there. So that's pretty interesting how that works. And it's about time Google came out with this new version for the iPhone and Android. It's being tested now. If you want to check it out, just go to igoogle.com on your iPhone and then click on the try this out link at the top of the page. Very happy they came out with it, and I'm sure this will please a lot of iPhone and Android users. On June 6th, which was Saturday, Google celebrated Tetris's, I think, 25th anniversary. That's when Tetris came out about 25 years ago on June 6th. So Google had a special logo for Tetris. The thing is, June 6th is also known as D-Day. So it was a pretty important day. What happened was Bing, Microsoft's new search engine, had a theme up for that day, and they honored the falling of lots and lots of soldiers who fought on D-Day. But Google, on the other hand, had a Tetris logo. So a lot of searchers complained, saying, it's not right that Google will go ahead and put up a fun and enjoyable Tetris logo on a day where thousands and thousands of soldiers died and gave their life for their country and for the war. So we posted a poll: do we think it's appropriate that Google put a doodle of Tetris on the same day as D-Day? And we have 160 plus responses, and the results are pretty mixed. So if you want to take the results, you want to take the poll, June 8th at SEOroundtable.com. There's definitely a poll there, and personally I'm not sure what to think. I can see both sides of the story again. Finally, not really search related, but I guess in some sense it is, Facebook is launching usernames, so now you can have facebook.com/ whatever name you think is relevant for yourself. This is launching tonight, Friday night at midnight. The exact time is 12:01 a.m. Eastern time, and you go on, so I guess it's Saturday in the morning. You go on to Facebook, or go to facebook.com/username, and then you can reserve your usernames on a first come, first served basis. The main thing with this in SEO is that I guess it's just another reputation management solution. So if you do have a public profile, the cleaner your URL is, it might help you get that page ranking well for your name or your company name. Fan pages are included. You can get a fan page vanity URL as well, or username URL. The problem also is, not for me, but for some people, is that if you are a Jewish observant Jew and you observe the Shabbos or Sabbath, Friday night is a time where you can't go online and actually reserve the name. Facebook, I guess, didn't realize this, so some users are complaining, but there's nothing Facebook could do currently to change that. Facebook actually did reserve several names for journalists, so if you are a journalist, you can ask Facebook to reserve a name in the future, or right now, so that people can't get it. So technically, I guess I should be reserving, I'm technically reserving Facebook.com/Barry Schwartz and Facebook.com/ I think SE Roundtable. So hopefully you'll get your Facebook URL. It's good for reputation management issues. And sorry for anybody who cannot secure them. Hopefully your name will be available when you are able to secure them. Okay, so that wraps up the Search Buzz video recap. Again, today is Friday, June 12th. My name is Barry Schwartz. This is the news we covered the past week at SERoundtable.com. Thanks for listening, and hopefully you like these videos. And hopefully this week I will be able to shave and cut my hair. It's been about today's the 4 weeks old, my new baby girl, and it's been challenging, but the past 2 nights I've been getting some sleep. I don't want to jinx it, and hopefully everything will continue to do well and everybody's doing fine. And I'll see you guys next week. Everyone have a great weekend and have a great week.